Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph. Today's video, I'm answering a particular question that I've been getting a lot, and it's all about my tethering system. So if you've been watching my behind the scenes, you know that when I'm shooting, I have a little monitor, actually my iPad, which is this one right here, and it has a bit of a contraption on there. And I'm getting questions as to how I'm able to send the images from my camera to the iPad, and that is what this video is about. When I had the idea to build this tethering kit, portable tethering kit, it started with me using my laptop primarily as my tethering tool, because when I'm shooting, I want to either be able to see my images on a bigger screen so that I can make corrections, or even give a separate screen to my clients to be able to see what is happening on set. What I found is this just makes them feel more involved in what's happening in the shoot. And then also if there are other people involved, like a makeup artist, a stylist, or even the client or the designer, if it's a fashion shoot that you're doing, for example, they can see on a much bigger screen what is happening. If they need to fix anything, it becomes a little bit easier. When I started tethering, I was tethering to my laptop, and even though it's great because it's a much bigger screen, it also had its own issues. For example, setting up the laptop, which I feel is also a little bit more fragile because I'm using that same laptop to edit, and if anything happens to it on set, it means that I'm actually losing my tethering kit and also losing my post-production system. So what I thought is if I have an iPad, it's a little bit easier to work with, and it's also more portable. You don't really need a lot of moving parts to be able to put something like this together. So at the core of this is this cage, and this cage is from SmallRig. I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to get this exact same cage. But what it does is it gives me a grip, right, so that I can be able to hold this, or whoever I'm giving this to will be able to hold it easily. Now, in addition to the grip, you also have a ton of mounting ports on the cage itself, which allows you to be able to put other things on there. So the good thing about the iPad and the laptop is that they are both battery powered, and so if you're shooting in a remote location, you will be able to get some sort of power to be able to view what you're shooting for a period of time. But for the laptop, for example, if my battery dies out, that is it. Unless I have an actual socket, I will not be able to get power into it. Or maybe if I have a very big power bank, that becomes more expensive, but then I'll still be able to power the laptop. But with the iPad, all you need is any USB-C device with power delivery, and you'll be able to send power into this. Now, the downside with this is that you only have one USB-C port. And when I started building this kit, the first thing I thought of using to power or to send external power into the iPad, as well as sending the signal from my camera into the iPad, was to use a dongle like this. So initially what I did was I had this thing sitting on top here, and I had strapped it down, and that was cumbersome. It was also not really secure, and I've just been looking for a certain way of being able to send both power and data to the iPad, and that is where this tool from SmallRig comes in clutch. So with this new solution, let me go ahead and show you all that I'm using to build this kit, and then we'll do a test just to see if everything works properly. So to put this kit together, the first thing you need is this cage, the one with the handles, and it also has an adjustable height. The next thing you would also need to be able to add portable power to your iPad is going to be this V-mount adapter plate. Afterwards, you're going to need some sort of cold shoe adapter. You need your display. In my case, I'm using this iPad right here. And then you're going to need the new adapter as well. And finally, you're going to need two USB-C adapters. I have a very short one, which is just going to send power from the battery to the iPad. And then obviously you need your long tether cable. So this is the one that is going to be sending the data from my camera to the iPad as well. And then obviously you need a V-mount battery. What I have is the SmallRig 212, but any V-mount battery that you have should be able to do the trick as well. So before we put the kit together, let me just open this up and see what's inside. So obviously you get some paperwork, but I believe this is just like any USB-C dongle. Okay, so in there, you have this dongle. On the sides, you have 4 USB-C ports. You have 2 USB 2.0 ports, which is here and there. But what's important to me is actually this power delivery port and the 3.1. So I'm going to be using this obviously for power delivery, and this is where I'm going to be tethering through. And on the other side, you have this cold shoe mount, which is really important to what I'm doing, and then a short USB-C cable. So the main reason why I decided to build this kit with this dongle in particular is that I know I have just one USB-C port on the iPad, but I mean, it would hold charge for a while. You'll be shooting, it's going to run down. You need to plug in, to charge up whilst you're shooting, take it out. That back and forth, I felt was going to damage the battery. But having this kit, I'm hoping is going to save the battery on the iPad and just let me work for extended periods without any hassle. So the first thing you need, like I said, is going to be this cage, right? Before we attach the iPad, let's go ahead and attach our V-mount plate. You see we have these 1/4 inch ports over here. I'm just gonna align it this way and then screw it in. Funny enough, most of the parts I'm using, or all of them actually, except for this, are all SmallRig parts, but SmallRig is not sponsoring this video. I just happen to be using a lot of SmallRig products for this. So now that we have our V-mount secured onto the back, the next thing I want to attach is going to be the cold shoe adapter. I know that there is a cold shoe adapter here, but again, the cable is short. So if it's sitting there and with the direction, it's just not convenient. So I just needed to be able to adapt a cold shoe onto this handle, which is right next to the USB-C port of the iPad. All right, so I'm just gonna screw the cold shoe adapter. So the next thing I need to do is insert my iPad, and then on the back we can just tighten this right here. All right, so the next thing is to install our USB-C adapter right here, and I'm going to put the cable inside. So connecting the USB-C adapter and the iPad, this is what we get. And now this is where you're going to insert your V-mount battery, and that slides right in. Portable, and you have now extended battery. So now with a short USB-C cable, we're going to connect one end into the power delivery port and the other goes into our battery. So now if you need to, shoot, you put your long USB-C cable into the USB 3.1 port, and then the other end now goes into your camera. So once you've put everything together, this is what your setup should look like. So what I'm going to do now is connect my camera to my iPad using my USB-C cable, right? So I'm going to launch Capture One. And if you want to be able to see the images from your camera onto your iPad, the software that I like to use is Capture One. So from there, you're going to go into Albums, click on the plus icon. It's going to ask you to name the new album that you're creating. Let me just call this Test, and then I'm going to hit Create. After you're done creating the album, you need to select the album, click the 3 dots next to it, and then assign Capture Album. Once you do that, any picture that you take is supposed to enter this folder. So what we're going to do is now connect one end of our USB-C cable into the 3.1 jack, and then the other one is going to go into the camera. Once you do that, you should see the name of your camera appear as the import source on Capture One. And I'm going to take a picture of this one to see if it appears inside the software. Again, I'm not really concerned about the lighting or anything. This is just a demo for you guys to see. So I click on that, and as you can see, we do have an import. So once I click on that, if I take several images at different angles, automatically it will begin to pop inside the software. So that is how my tethering kit is. And if you have a very long one, it means that you can go quite a distance away from your setup, and then you'll still be able to send the images that you're capturing from your camera into the iPad, and then your client will be able to see what you're shooting. You also get a bigger screen to be able to make creative decisions that way. You can also make adjustments inside Capture One. So for example, if I want to turn this into a black and white image, I can do that. But then there is a lot more at your disposal. Again, this is just a demo for you guys to see my tethering kit and how it works. And if I don't have someone holding the iPad, I can also set this on a tripod because I have this inbuilt Aka Swiss, and it allows me to attach it onto a tripod. But what I like to do is, because of the quarter mount at the bottom, I can just screw this onto any of my light stands. So like I said, if I don't want clients to hold this, I can just screw it onto a stand just like this, and wherever I'm going, I can just carry this, place it there, and it's really, really portable. So this pretty much sums up my tethering kit. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or you can shoot me a DM. I will respond. I'm also going to leave links to everything that I use to put this together in the description. If you have any questions, again, let me know in the comments or in my DM, and I will be sure to answer them. I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, don't ever give up.